Feeling lost in the maze of CPS? Desperate to get your child back? You're not alone. Countless parents face the heart-wrenching reality of family separation. The legal system can be overwhelming, but there's hope.
Now, here's the key. Hey, that's how you win a 6-month hearing.
Thank you.
If you do all of those things, you're going to blow your social worker's mind, you're going to blow your attorney's mind, and you're going to blow away the judge.
With attorney Vincent W. Davis, a dedicated legal expert with 39 years of experience, committed to helping families like yours. Join his weekly live Q&A on Zoom, where you can ask your burning questions about CPS cases. Get the knowledge and strategies you need to fight for your child's return.
Alrighty, good evening everyone. This is a question and answer session.
Are you ready to take control of your family's future? Participate as a one-time guest. Don't let fear hold you back. Take the first step towards reuniting your family. Join us now.
Good morning. Try again. Good morning and welcome. I have a little bit of issues still with my computer. The cursor seems to have its mind of its own. It wants to skip spaces and I can't roll up or down or whatever. But anyway, I want to welcome you all to a live podcast. And this is the Fight CPS with Bob Pace. I'm your host. And hang on to your children. We are broadcasting live from California. I'm on the west coast of the United States and a place called Surf City. Oh, we got a call already this morning. Okay, good. Good morning.
Hey, Bob. It's been a little while. It's Kimberly from Illinois.
Hi, this is Kimberly.
Yeah, how are you?
Pretty good. I thought I'd recognize your voice. I'm hanging in there. How are you this morning?
A little bit irritated.
Uh-oh.
My court case is just going corrupt.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. What's the latest?
So, I released jurisdiction back to the trial court since the trial court had not made a final decision from the appellate court. And then the appellate court chose again not to make a decision.
Now, what are you appealing? What are you appealing, Kimberly, if you could refresh my memory?
There was a non-biological child that was moved out of state and with a person that has extensive record and was testing positive and had warrants for his arrest. And interstate contact was denied. And that person has manipulated the children and not complied with court-ordered visits.
What has your attorney done?
Oh, he's appointed. He hasn't done anything, but I did drag him into the new appeal today.
Okay. It's so hard to use court-appointed attorneys. I said it's really hard to use court-appointed attorneys. Vincent Davis did talk to a girl, Tessa, in California, who's using a court-appointed attorney. And he says, you can tell the court-appointed attorney and this lights on fire. If you do not perform and defend my case, I will sue you for negligence. Further, I'll report you to the state bar and complain.
I reported mine to the state bar. I sent them copies of text messages where he promised to file to increase my visitation because I deserved it back in August. And he said he had it drafted. He was going to file it at the next court date in 2 weeks. It's like that show, The Money Pit, where the guy's always like, the construction people keep coming and he says, how long until this is fixed? They always say, 2 weeks, 2 weeks. Well, that's my attorney. Everything's 2 weeks, 2 weeks. It's all smoke and mirrors.
And so
hilarious.
When you filed the complaint to, what's the capital of Illinois?
So I filed in the appellate court to address the judge's deprivation of my rights and violation of due process. And failure to rule.
Now, would the appellate court handle a non-appeal issue?
Well, isn't that appealable if you're in deprivation of rights?
Well, no, I'm talking about the negligence, charging your complaining about your attorney not performance.
Oh, well, I gave it to ADRC, and they're really stalling on doing anything about it, but he's still on my case. And he said it doesn't matter that I filed a complaint, which I think he should have to recuse himself because of bias, because now I've filed a complaint, and he knows that I have an attorney ready to file a legal malpractice suit.
Well, right, because he definitely, he or she, I don't know if it's a he or she, is definitely not performing. If he's going to be, he or she's going to be your attorney assigned by the court to public defend you, you need to keep riding him. You need to put heat on his fence. And there's lots of ways.
2 weeks, and then he admitted he lied, and he didn't even have it drafted yet. So we're almost a year, and he can't even draft a motion.
Can you change that court-appointed attorney? Have you tried that?
He said the judge won't let him.
Well, have you talked to the judge?
I'm not allowed to file into my own case. Judge put
well, no. I know you can't pro se because you're representative, but if you go to
I emailed the clerk and I let them know. Yeah.
Well, the clerk is not going to make a decision. What you need to do is you need to go to the office that court-appointed attorney works out of, talk to the manager in charge, whoever's in charge, and say you want to report.
Manager.
I'm sorry, what?
He is the only employee of this business.
Oh, my goodness. Jeez. Well, then you're going to have to go to the state capitol and work there with CPS.
But check this out.
I mean, not DCFS.
DCFS made me go to their approved providers because originally they said just get a psychological evaluation, and then the case manager, she on the case, she said she approved the place I went. I paid $2,000. And he listed in the service plan that was filed with court in October, he said, wrote it satisfactory, right? And named the place that I chose to go. After I get the report back, they didn't like the answers to that. So they said it didn't have a parenting capacity eval. The case plan did not specify a parenting capacity eval. It was not a DCFS approved provider. It didn't specify, and on top of that, the last case manager named the place in the last court report and marked it as successful, meaning she approved it. But okay, let's placate them a little bit. So I go to their provider. Their provider printed out a report of lies that they poured into it. Like they said that I had a child that was taken away and given to the father at 3 months old. That's not true. Where's that? And then they said one of my kids was born with cocaine in the system. That's never happened. Where the hell did that come from? You know? And they have my history. They have the truth. And every bit of it was a lie. And I had told the lady that, I called the police. I gave them the footage of my husband assaulting the kids. Yet this lady put in her report that she helped in the lying as well, this contracted person with UCFS. And she said she was caught on camera. What do you mean caught? I wasn't caught. I called the police and I gave them the video evidence. There was no catching me. I fucking am the person who reported it. And so, it was just so extreme. And I think that these people behave so narcissistic. If you look at how a narcissist behaves and the traits of a narcissist, they gaslight. They call you the liar when they're the ones lying. It's just, everything they do is just awful.
Yeah, it sounds like you are there, but I don't know if you're trying to go to, if the state is not helping you, have you thought about going to Washington, D.C. to the federal CPS system?
No, well, so what I've done is I filed into the federal court, which has been very interesting, and it's been a little bit of a process, but I'm ready to file today. And I filed into the appellate court again because he made a motion to have a hearing, but he never ruled. So after some research, I realized that there is you can appeal the judge's failure to rule in a timely manner as well.
Okay.
But I was hoping that you can, like, address the constant deprivation of rights and lack of due process on the appellate level before it gets to the federal level. When typing, I was reading the message. It was just your thing.
Yeah,
How have you been?
Well, it's been okay. What's the most enlightening thing is that I've suddenly got quite a following now. I have about 20 regulars that come to my room, and it'll be hot and cold. One show, I'll have everybody talking 50 miles an hour, and whether it's KK Richardson from Brooklyn, New York, or it's Leica from the West Cape province in South Africa, or it's Philistine from New Brunswick, Canada, or it's Margaret from St. Louis, Missouri, or Tessa from Northern California, or JD from LA, California. It's just, it goes on and on the list. I try to remember everybody, but it's a lot of people, and they give me updates, and they tell me some things I've told them does work. So that's refreshing to know. Because if I knew what I knew now, if I roll back the clock to 2015, I would never have had them in my home. I'd never have had my children trafficking into foster care and spending the next 3 years in and out of foster care places, from a shelter to a group home to a single family home. And they're being bounced around and told about, they're being abused, and they were doing everything to make my life miserable. And then when I caught that social worker in a lie, when Mr. Davis questioned on the stand about whether these parents that want to adopt my daughter were good parents and he had any domestic violence, she said, "Oh, no, they're great parents, no domestic violence." Then he pulls out all these domestic violence reports from the police department. Not only their domestic violence, their physical domestic, where they're actually punching each other. So you don't want that as an environment for your kids. So she was caught with perjury.
No, I don't like the environment mine's in.
Yeah, she was caught with perjury, and she knew that she could be sued. So she retaliated. And what she did is she told my daughter, who's 12 at the time, "You're going to emancipate from your parents. You're going to change your name. You're going to seal your birth certificate, get a new birth certificate, a new social security card, and then be, of course, foster care adopted." But the thing is that she was using 2 social security cards. She was double dipping social security out of my social security fund.
Yeah.
And that is the sad thing that I see right now with the way that the government works, CPS works, and the way the judges work, the way that the attorneys work in court. I mean, it's ridiculous. In my area, I was not allowed to be in the courtroom. Only time I was allowed in the courtroom is when they made a finding, which I think is wrong. I think any time that you have a court matter, you and the children are present in court so everybody can listen. My kids are old enough to understand. At the time, they were 12, 15 and 9, but they could understand. They could see that, oh, yeah, the parents are trying to get them their stuff that they want, the court-appointed classes, this and that, and so forth. But they don't do that.
They just say no.
Now I don't know.
The latest social workers tried to tell me, like, you're still looking at this case plan as a checklist, and even though you've done all the work on the checklist, you haven't made enough progress on your mental health. So we're going to mark you unsatisfactory because we think that you're not taking your meds. But my providers have not said anything negative or derogatory about, me and my progress.
Yeah. Well,
they said I'm going to my stuff, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and that's that. So then they're like, "You've had many different providers." Well, my insurance changed, and then one of my doctors quit. But that is not of my control.
Right, Kimberly.
So I'm like, how is that make me? Unless he said, "Well, you're working side jobs." No, I'm working for a person for a year that gives me money and checks and cash apps, which you said to accept it for the Norman Fund. But you're not going to accept it as an actual job.
Yeah.
What the hell's wrong with you? Why is that not considered a stable job?
Yeah.
You know, I'm disabled and I'm trying to get on disability. And the last thing I need to do is be working on the book.
Right, right. I want to say hello to two of my family members who have come in here. There's Betty Jo from Montana, who did get her niece back from Nebraska to Montana. It's her brother's daughter, so she was able to use the ICPC to transmit her safely. So she's trying to wrap up her case. Then there's Tessa French, who has some court dates coming up in February from Northern California, and she's trying to get her child back with because there was wrong accusations against her husband for she was going through seizures, and he was trying to hold her and protect her, and so she's in the room. So good morning, Tessa. Good morning, Betty J. What I'm talking to is Kim from Michigan.
Hey, guys.
And so she just called in to check on her and so forth. So let's see what Betty further says here. Let's see here.
Oh, Bob, I got to get off here real quick. I got a phone call coming in.
Okay, you take care. Thank you for touching base. All right. Okay. Bye-bye.
Yeah, sure. Bye-bye.
God bless you. Okay, that was Kimberly from Michigan. Oh, I thought you got your niece back. I am so sorry, Betty Jo. I thought you told me the other day that you successfully get your niece back. I misunderstood you. So what's going to happen in February, Betty Jo? What's going to happen? Okay, Betty answered my question. We have to see if the judge will approve of the IPC. If he is approve it, then she's coming to me. My question was, there was some talk that the IPC was dropped because it expired, but I thought you said it was good until March, and that you were going to show the court your paperwork, or your attorney was going to show your paperwork, Betty Jo. I'm confused. I thought you had a IPC that was approved, and you requested a second one. If you want to call in, Betty Jo, I'll put my number up here so you can call in. The caseworker asked for a new PC and it's finished. I'm all rectified. But why are you doing a new IPC when you already have one that has not expired? They're just letting you do the runaround. I don't understand that. I don't understand. You're letting the caseworker work you over, and that should not be the case. Okay. But that whole meeting at your trial or when you went to court, you had a IPC, the social work says expired, and you're supposed to show the judge that I think it was your court case was on Wednesday, you're supposed to show them by Friday. What happened to the current IPC? What happened to the current? I know your thing is. So why can't they use the current IPC? What is the holdup? I'm not understanding that. Hello.
Hi, Bob. It's Betty Joe.
Yeah, hi, Betty Joe. Thank you for calling in.
Hi.
I thought maybe you could explain it a little bit to me.
I know it's kind of confusing. Well, the caseworker got up on the stand and she said that my ICPC has expired, which it has not. It doesn't expire until March. So I gave my attorney my paperwork, and we filed a motion in with the court that she was not correct. So we have to wait for the next court hearing, which is in February 19th, to show her, hey, this is not expired. You had lied up on the stand stating that it has expired. Because she said that she had received an email from the ICPC placement stating that it's not closed out. She said that she got an email saying that it was closed. She emailed herself from a different email stating that it was closed. She didn't want the baby to be post-written. So she made that email up, and I got a hold of my ICPC caseworker, and I asked her, and she said, no, it's never been closed. Why are you saying that? I said, well, can you email me something that's stating that it's never been closed? So she emailed me the paperwork stating that it wasn't closed. I emailed that to my attorney. My attorney presented that to the judge. The judge said we want to set a court date for the 19th of February to talk to the caseworker about this.
Okay. Meanwhile, you went ahead and got another one case time. You don't want to lose it. That was smart on your part.
Right, I can't. It's my foster care licensing and everything, so I have to renew it before it's time.
Yeah.
So I just figured I might as well do a new one at that time.
Okay. So the other day, I guess I misunderstood you because I thought you had your daughter back, and I apologize.
Nope, not yet. We'll find out on the 19th. That's placement day. So we'll find out if she's going to be placed with me or if she's going to stay in foster care. Found out the foster mom is adoptive foster mom that's in Nebraska.
Okay. Now, how's your niece doing?
She's doing really well. The last time I saw pictures of her, she's grown. She's getting really big. She's almost 2. She'll be 2 on the 5th of February. I don't really have any contact with her because the social worker says that my brother has to have 6 consecutive positive visits before I can join in any visits. So next week will be his 6th visit marker where I can visit with her at the same time as he does.
Oh.
But I can have time by myself also.
How old is your niece now?
She'll be 2 in February.
Oh my goodness, that's so hard for a 2-year-old to understand all this.
Yeah, she doesn't understand.
And they probably won't let you talk about it to her, right?
No, they don't want me to talk nothing about it to her or nothing.
Wow.
Every time that my brother has visits, he comes over into my house to use my Wi-Fi so he can have visits with her, and he just breaks down in tears.
Oh.
Which I don't blame him. It just hurts him so bad to see her in the situation that she's in. And I told him, I said, well, maybe you need to save up enough money to get back to Nebraska to actually have in-person visits with her. I think that would be the best thing for him.
Yeah, but he doesn't have a job in Nebraska. Right. And the reason why he got in trouble, they were living out of a treehouse in Nebraska.
Yep.
And of course, the mother, you said, isn't fit, so she's out of the picture.
Yeah, she's fighting right now with my attorney saying that I don't want my baby being placed there. I won't be able to see my baby. Well, you're losing your right. So what's the point? There's no reason to fight against it. If you just let things go smoothly, then I can let you see your child on my own terms.
Yeah, I hear you.
And I feel that you're necessary and clean and a good person for her to be around. Then I will let you see your child. Not until then.
Mm-hmm.
Just like the little boy I had, he went with his aunt, and he's happy. I have contact with him. He called me the other day, and he goes, how are you doing? I miss you. And I said, I miss you too, buddy. And he was just crying because he wanted to stay in my home. He wanted to stay here, and I wanted him to stay here. I wanted to keep him, but his aunt's got an approval saying that she can take him in, she can adopt him. And I was like, oh, that's a blessing that Auntie's going to be able to do that for you. But I don't want to be with Auntie. I want to be with you. You're more fun. And I was like, oh, that breaks my heart. And I'm like, what do I do?
Yeah.
I can't really do a whole lot about that little boy. But I know in the long run, he's better off with family than being in foster care.
Yeah, in the long run, it will be good. In the long run, it will be good.
It's better with family than being in a foster care system where you're stuck for the rest of your life until you're 18. Some places are 19 years old until you can get out of the foster care system. Nebraska is 19 years old. I did not know that.
It's 19, not 18? It's not 18?
19 years old. 19 years old in the state of Nebraska.
Wow. That's good to know.
Yeah.
Wow. That is good to know. That is so good to know.
And some states are 20. What was it, Maryland, I think it is, where he went to? He has to be 20 before he becomes a legal adult.
Well, time is the worst part about CPS because it takes forever.
It does. they'll wrap you around hoops, and you have to jump through one hoop at a time. Your hoops are as tall as you are, and they just want you to jump through one at a time. And if you jump through three at a time, oh, wait, stop right there. You're doing wrong. They kind of stop you. They make you redo what you've already done in the past. If you've been a mom that has epileptic seizures, like Teresa, I think it is.
Yeah.
She had a seizure, and that's a medical known thing. They can't hold that against her. That's medical. If they were concerned about it, they should have been concerned at birth, where she's had them all her life.
Uh-huh.
They should have stepped in the day the child was born and said, hey, you have epilepsy. We're taking your child until you can come out of these seizures, or you can come out of these epilepsy pronouns that you do. They should have stepped in then, but they didn't. That's what she's saying. Until recently, when her husband was trying to help her be safe, and then they step in and say, nope, we're taking your child because you have this wrong with you. You have that wrong with you. Well, they can't medically keep the child because a parent is medically inclined.
Yeah.
There's one parent that doesn't have that, so they should say, okay, if you're going to be around your child, you need to have the other parent there just to make sure that you're not going to have an epileptic seizure again. Maybe that's one thing she can mention to the courts and say, hey, I'm willing to have somebody here at all times with me, my mom, my dad, my sister, my brother, whoever she can think of, saying, hey, I will have my husband here with me at all times when I have my child here.
Well,
maybe that's a thing to mention to her. Say, hey, maybe you can mention to the courts, hey, I'm willing to have somebody here at all times with me just in case I don't have another seizure.
I see.
Because then they're showing to the judge, hey, I have a backup just in case I do have something wrong with me. Somebody's able to take care of the child, and then they can call 911, and I can get the medical assistance that I need at that time.
Okay, Betty. Okay. You've been listening to a lot of my shows. Is there anything that you've heard on my shows that you'd like to comment on?
Oh, there's a lot.
Well, since I got you on the phone, I thought maybe there's something. Yeah, I think one of the hardest things that people. Yeah, I think one of the hardest things that people are finding is how to deal with the attorney issue. That seems to be the number one problem.
Mm-hmm.
Because most people.
I mean, I had to hire this attorney. I didn't really want to, but I had to.
That's something they have to realize. It is so tough. It's so financially burdened on people because a lot of times, one thing that everybody has in common, they're either in between jobs, or they lost their jobs, or they're homeless, but they're not bad parents. And being homeless is not a crime.
Some you can get your child back in homeless.
Yep. And people don't realize that.
I had a little girl just recently, a couple days ago. Her mom turned out to be homeless, and then she ended up going into like a shelter, and they gave the child back because she was inside of a shelter. She was underneath a roof. As long as you have a roof to go under every night, they can't say that you're homeless. You have a roof over your head.
Yeah.
You can supply some kind of heat. You can build a fire if you have to, just to stay warm by. They cannot take a child because you're homeless.
Yeah.
And when I went through my foster care licensing, there was a part about being homeless with a child. They cannot take a child because you're homeless. As long as you have a roof over your head, they cannot step in and intervene. The only time they can intervene is if the child is filthy, not clothing, not hygiene, and not seeing a doctor on a regular basis.
Yep.
It's a 6-month checkup. You better make sure you're at that 6-month checkup. If you miss that, that's a number one marker that the doctor's office
looks at, okay, you missed 6 visits already. Now this is the 7th visit. Now we have to report that you're not making your medical appointments. Even some people say, oh, well, I don't believe in medical. I believe in my own medical. Well, do you have a degree in medical? Do you have that as a background? If you have that as a background, great. They can't step in. But once you miss all those doctor's appointments, they have the right to call you in. And that's when they step in and they say, hey, your child wasn't at their 6-month visit. How come? Well, we're taking your child because he's sick, or she's ill, or she's got a sore on her leg, or she's got a sore on her elbow. How did that happen? Well, why didn't you take her in? Why didn't you get it checked up? It's infected. Maybe she's got gangrene. Maybe she's got something wrong with her that you don't even know.
Yeah.
As a parent, as myself as a parent, I have family members that are CNAs, CCAs. I have a family member that's almost a doctor. She's got 2 more years and she's a doctor. So I can go to her anytime I need and say, hey, I need help. Explain to me what's going on with this child. And she'll tell me. She'll come right out and tell me, this child was neglected. It's malnutrition. Feed it. Well, that's what I do.
Yeah.
I mean, I had just a little girl a couple weeks ago after I got the little boy. She was 8 years old and she was 42 pounds. 42 pounds. That's like a 9-month-old, 10-month-old weighing, roughly. Maybe a year and a half old. But being 10 years old, that's concerning. And what did CPS do? They put her with me, and then a week later, she went back to her mom. And I don't understand why or what the problem was. But when she left me, she was 62 pounds. She was getting her medication. She was getting her nutrition that she needed. Because her mom refused to give her her medication because her mom was taking her medication. So now the doctor's office gives her a shot once a week, that same medication as in a shot form, so the mom can't take the medication.
Okay. What would you recommend to your people, your people, to the people in this room, of things that you did, you should have done, or the mistakes you made? I mean, is there something you can come up with?
I've never dealt with CPS technically, and the only thing that I've dealt with CPS is accepting children. But I would recommend, if you have a child that's being removed from your home, do what they want you to do. Jump through their hoops, jump through your own hoops, jump ahead of them and say, okay, you want me to do counseling? Okay, I'm going to do inpatient treatment. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to show you that I am a positive person for this child.
Right.
Don't let them try to recommend this counselor. You can make your own decision of your counselor. If you talk to your attorney or the judge and ask the judge, is this counselor approved? And if they have credentials, they're 100% qualified. You do not have to listen to your social worker and say, well, she wants me to go to ABC, but I want to go to D and E and F. I'm going to D and E and F because that's where I've always been going. Don't go to their counselors because their counselors are working for them. They'll make up things about you.
Good morning. I was going to say good morning to Cruel, who just came in. That is Felicia from Ventura, California. And she's been going through a nightmare time and time again. It's good to see you, Felicia. I'm talking right now to Betty Jo from Montana, and she is a foster care mom. She's also trying to get her brother's child back, her niece, from Nebraska to Montana, and the CPS system has been very hard on her. And that's really surprising. She's also one of the special foster care moms that I feel does good because she takes in children. Like the other day, she had a son that she took in, a boy who parents several Fridays ago lost their lives. Both parents are dead. And so now she has a little boy that she is temporarily taking care of. How's he doing? How's he doing?
He's doing really well. He's with his aunt, and he's doing really well. He calls me every night and says good night and good morning. He calls me every morning and every night saying good morning and good morning.
Oh, that is something. Wow.
Because his aunt is adopting him, so
Okay.
it's a good thing that his aunt's there because his aunt is family. I'm just some stranger off the street that he didn't know, and he looks up to me as his mama or his aunt or whoever he looks up to me as. He called me Mimi, so I don't know if I'm grandma, mom, aunt, what, I don't know. But to him, I am a role model for him, and he just calls me every morning and says, hi, good morning, I'm going to school now. I'm like, okay, I love you, and you have a good day. And most foster parents don't say I love you because that hurts kids' feelings. But he needed that love. He needed that security, saying that he is loved. No matter where your mom and your dad is, you're still loved.
Well, that's the hard thing that young children are going through, is that when they are emotionally broken up, when the family is broken up, and a lot of times is broken up for no reason at all. It's a shame that they break up families that the way they do. And so
100%. I think if CPS would step in when it's necessary, only when it's necessary. If there's like abuse going on, yes, I can see them stepping in. But if the child is screaming and hollering, does that mean that they're getting abused? Not necessarily. They could be playing in the side of their home. They could be playing with mom and dad on the floor, wrestling around.
Yeah.
Somebody has to call in and say, oh, they're beating their child. Well, how can you prove that I'm beating my child? I'm playing with the child on the floor. We're wrestling around. We're playing. We're giggling. We're tickling each other. We're not playing hard, but we're just playing. Step up, and when you need to, don't just step in and just say, oh, we're taking your child because we feel that you're beating your child. Well, can you prove that I'm beating my child? You have to have that proof. And of course, they'll sit there and say, oh, well, yeah, we have proof. Your neighbor called and said that they heard the screaming. Well, I want to talk to my neighbor with you. And I'll get my attorney involved, too. Before I talk to any social worker, I get my attorney involved because sometimes they say things and they turn around and do the opposite. One time I had a teenager, and she was horrifying. She was just trouble. She would escape my house every night. I had to barricade her windows in her room so she couldn't get out. I had to barricade my door so she couldn't get out.
Yeah.
I had to put a padlock on a metal part that goes across my door and put a padlock on it so she couldn't get out. She was one of these kids that wanted to run away. She said that she has a love in Africa. Well, if you have a love in Africa, I think this might be a long-distance relationship, but I don't think it's true. But she wanted to run away. She wanted to escape because that's what her mom told her in a visit. If you run away, they can't find you. They won't be able to keep you in CPS. Well, that's false. They'll be able to find you. They put a missing child report out on you as soon as that parent calls you in missing, it's within 2 minutes, it's already out. And if they find you, you go back to the foster care system and you stay there until you're 18. In my state, it's 18, but other states it's 19. And I know in Maryland it's 20.
That is just hard to believe because I think it should be 18. I just don't.
It's sad to see children that are in the foster care system that don't deserve the foster care system. That's like my niece. I've been involved since day one, May of 23. I've been approved for a foster home for 11 years. And I've had in and out of children in my home for a long time. And they told me I have to do this, I have to do that. I already have all that. Mine's been completed. And they just want to drag their heels. They want to dig it into the dirt. They want to push you as far as they can push you until you want to give up. And I'm not giving up. This is my blood niece. I will not give up on her because she doesn't deserve to be given up on. She deserves to have a loving, caring, loving home and with family.
I'm sorry, I was answering a text message there. It's hard when you have more than one person that you're trying to address. That's one of my challenges here. And Cruel has sent a lot of messages there. She says that's terrible. And so she says that's miserable to have the child at 2 go through what she's going. Now, Cruel says, I'm officially homeless now. On Monday, my mom's house was yellow tag due to no operating utilities. My brother's mom has abandoned and neglected my mom. His negligence has hampered me so much. I'm so sorry to hear that from having my babies return. I miss them terribly, still going strong with no contact with my children since September 15th, 2024. I'm falling so behind on matters of my own due to the circus act that is caring for my children and her mom. See, this is a hard thing. You know, I don't understand why there's no compassion or love by the social services, child protection systems. It does seem like they don't care. And here's a mother that is trying to take care of her mom, who I guess is now going to become homeless. She's going to become homeless, and she has her babies. And I just wish that people that are listening or people that could talk to her and help her out, because I really feel bad for Cruel. I really do. Is there any advice you could give, Betty Jo, to Cruel?
I would say get inside of a shelter as soon as you can. Even though it might be for women only, you tell them, hey, I have my children. My children have nowhere else to go. I need to have my children with me. Go inside of a shelter. Go to the police department. Ask them to put you up in a hotel room if they have to. Go to American Red Cross if you have to. Go to United Way. There's different options that you can do to get help.
Well, her children have been taken by CPS and placed in foster care. So her children are okay at the moment, but they're being bounced around. And right now they're refusing the mother to see the children, which I don't understand. Cruel, if you hear me, why are you not have visitation with your children? Why you not have visitation? I know that you're going to be homeless Monday, but you know, why you have no visitation with your children? That should have no bearing on seeing your child since September.
No, it doesn't. If she hasn't had visitation since September, what they're probably going to do is
relinquish her. She says her children, her children are with her dad and her stepmom. I guess her dad has left her mom, and so the children are with him. Now, why were they denying you visitations, Felicia? Why did they deny you visitations in September? Why? What's the reason?
You can talk to the social worker's supervisor and ask for visitation. And if they deny you a visitation, then you can take that to court and say, I demand that I want visitation. I am available this time to this time. I am free from Monday through Saturday or Sunday through Saturday.
Are you still there, Betty Jo? Okay, Betty Jo must have fallen off. To all your listeners out there, thank you, Betty Jo, for telling you that. I don't know if you heard that, Felicia, but you could ask the supervisor that you want to have visitations with your daughter. I don't know the reason why you're not being allowed visitation. And you can also go to the court and ask the judge you want visitation. I don't know if you have a court-appointed attorney or a paid legal attorney, but you need to ask the judge. And you could do what's called a 388 motion, which is a motion that you want to enter new information into court. You want to see the judge. The judge has to do that within 30 days. So you might want to look into that. Okay, they say that you are uncooperative and disrespectful. I had a foul mouth, all it far from the truth, but it supports the county's good. Yeah, I know what they're doing. You're trying to fight. You're going to have to eat crow, and you're going to have to put a smile on your face and be extra nice to them. You need to tell them how important it is that the children see their biological mom. I filed a 388 for both of my babies. It was denied and went to appeals. Oh boy, I'm so sorry, Felicia. It's so hard. Are you having that attorney help you, or are you doing this all yourself? For all of you listening here, we had Betty Jo on the phone from Montana. Before that, we had Kimberly from Michigan. And now I'm talking with Felicia about having visitation with her children. Also, we've had Tessa here text messages about her upcoming case in February. So I'm glad to see you all in my room, and all that you're listening that are not typing, welcome. Again, thank you very much for the thumbs up. I love emojis, so that was really good. Thank you, Donna, and thank you, Lori. It's so good to hear from Lori. Lori's been in my room for 15 months, as long as I've been on the podcast, and she's from Canada. And it took her until recently, just a week ago, that she was able to open up about her case and talk about her case. It took her 15 months just to talk on this show. I know how it is troubled. I am still troubled by what CPS has done to me, my family, my home. I lost my home because of CPS. I lost my youngest daughter to the CPS. I've had my credit ruined, and getting a job has been hindered by CPS. They've interfered so much in my life, and I'm struggling. I'm so struggling right now. When you lose your home, that's the worst thing. That took me 45 years to save up and buy. And I had a beautiful home, and I had a beautiful family. CPS ruined my family. They ruined my family. My in-laws, my wife's parents, were determined to upset her family. They're very jealous that we had 3 children. They're jealous that she came and married me, 30 some years ago when we got married. She, she came to me, and her parents always bad. So when I lost my job, they made an effort to undermine me by making false accusations for 5 years to CPS. False accusations. And so it was a nightmare and a half. And I know what you guys are going through. I really do. It's now after 11 o'clock, and I do have to go. I don't mean to leave you like this, Cruel, but I'll be again on tonight at 7 o'clock. And I want to thank Cruel, who's Felicia from Ventura, California, who is really going down the tubes fast. I mean, she's losing everything. I want to thank Betty Joe from Montana for calling in and getting an update on the transportation of her brother's niece from Nebraska to Montana. And then I want to thank Kimberly from Michigan, who called in about her case. It seems to be really going bad. And then on top of that, I want to thank Tessa from Northern California that has a court case coming up. And so I God bless all of you. I really want to help you. I'm on twice a day, 7 days a week. I come on at 10 o'clock Pacific Standard Time and 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time in the evening. That's twice a day, 7 days a week. I never let you down. I'm here all the time. That's 2 shows a day. And I have 5 rules. Listen to my podcast. You'll hear about my rules. And they will help you when you're fighting CPS. And, need to get an attorney. Trying to fight CPS is like you're trying to do open heart surgery yourself. You can't do open heart surgery yourself. You need a professional, and that's what it's all about. Either going to have to get a credit line or a mortgage or a loan or sell your furniture. I sold my home, quick sale. That's how I was able to get my attorney. My attorney was Vincent Davis. Now you're going to hear him talk to you briefly about things that he can help you with. He gives a lot of his time, so listen to him. Again, I'll see you tonight at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Keep fighting for your kids. God bless you, and take care.
Feeling lost in the maze of CPS? Desperate to get your child back? You're not alone. Countless parents face the heart-wrenching reality of family separation. The legal system can be overwhelming, but there's hope.
Now, here's the key. Babe, that's how you win a 6-month hearing.
Thank you.
If you do all of those things, you're going to blow your social worker's mind, you're going to blow your attorney's mind, and you're going to blow away the judge.
With attorney Vincent W. Davis, a dedicated legal expert with 39 years of experience, committed to helping families like yours. Join his weekly live Q&A on Zoom, where you can ask your burning questions about CPS cases. Get the knowledge and strategies you need to fight for your child's return.
Alrighty, good evening everyone. This is a question and answer session.
Are you ready to take control of your family's future? Participate as a one-time guest. Don't let fear hold you back. Take the first step towards reuniting your family. Join us now.